This conference will now be recorded.
So now in application development, what we need to understand here? So what is the how to create the application? When you create the application, what is the class structure? Okay, so when you define the class structure, what you need to understand when you design in the class structure, what is the layers in that class you have to define. Suppose I will create an Amazon application, for example, and Amazon have the divisions, Amazon have the units. Okay, so that's all the configuration that you have to define in the application development. So there your LSA will take care of designing your application. So nothing to work from CSSA side or the senior developer side. It's all taken care by the your architect or LSA will take care of that. Okay. So for your point of view, you need to understand understanding the application structure. Okay. So that is more help you where you have to create the rules and where you have to make the changes. I mean, when you in the running application, okay, so there you have to understand what changes going on, what is the business logic on behind, and what changes you have to work on, right? So that's all. When you're trying to work on, you should have an idea of your application class structure and application design, right? That's more help you. Uh, suppose any issue comes, right? So you will trace it and you will try to debug it. That way you will understand what's going on there. But you should have an idea like where you have to keep the rules as per the uh, I mean how they are following the framework or implementation layer they use to develop the application. Got it? So let's see that how to create an application, and while creating the application, what are the steps we need to follow, and what are the dependency on the another application like build on application and all, and what is the application stack. Okay, so what does it mean by the application stack, Larry? You have an idea? Yeah, Vinay, what does it mean by the application stack? Rules stack.
Where we used predefined functions and everything, right?
No. Rules stack is nothing but how we define the rules within the application, right? Um, okay, so I'll show you that what is a rule stack and all, and we'll discuss more detail on while application development or creating the application. What are the things? What are the settings we need to understand? What are the basic understanding on application? Designing or development side. Okay,
Application
that is the
stack is
one.
nothing but what it will be containing everything. Everything comes under it, right?
Everything.
Whatever will be developing inside application,
Okay,
inside it will be coming. Are you referring to that?
yeah, it's just nothing but creating the class structure and
Hmm.
managing the rule
Hmm.
sets within the application, uh, and how you give the access to the user. When
Hmm.
user give the access or log into the application, and what
Hmm.
application user have access, and that application have what rules stack. In that way, user
Hmm.
get access to execute the rules at runtime.
Hmm.
Okay, we'll see when you work on practically, you will understand better. Okay, that is we'll see.
Hmm.
And one more thing, deployment and application versioning. You have an idea application versioning? What is the application versioning?
Regarding deployment, deployment, I'm having the idea, and application versioning also, major versioning, minor versioning, and for bug
Yeah,
fixes we'll be using the different versioning, and for major changes we'll be using the major versioning, right?
okay. So when application versioning, what is the best practices we need to follow? When you have multiple teams, you should manage with the branching, right?
Hmm.
The branching
Yes,
should
yes.
should give an approval for the process for your lead. They will review your branch code, and you should maintain what Guardian's score. Guardian's score should be
Hmm.
more than 90%. Okay,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
you shouldn't have any warnings in the rules, whatever you are
Hmm.
developing, right?
Hmm.
That is the one thing.
Honestly.
That is a branching concept. And you
Hmm.
see, there is a skimming when the
Hmm.
versions were increased.
Hmm.
The patch is a what? Patch is the normal way. Whatever the rules, you may keep changing for every release. But coming to
Hmm.
the major and minor version, what
Hmm.
when you skimming, what changes it's going to be happening in the backend, and what is the major difference between the skimming, like major skimming and minor skimming. That's all you have to work on, and there you have to understand uh, in the concept of application versioning. That's all. We'll discuss more detailed onto that topic. Okay. Now coming to the application rule sets, right? Application rule sets. So how you manage the rule sets? How you manage? Like you see, there are two validation. What are those? Application validation, rule set validation.
Rule set validation.
So how it take preference that rules have dependency on further rule sets. For example, um, what you can take, there is a is the one rule set A, right? So you can take um, sorry, uh, rule set A, for example, and rule set B. You keep the rules here. Suppose rule 1, and this rule 1 you are calling rule 2, and this rule 2 is created in this rule set B, right? And now this rule set is prerequisite or using the rules from this rule set, right? In that way, there are two ways to validate the rules, which are what? Application rule set, what? Rule set validation. Okay. So rule set validation, it will take the prerequisite. What does it mean by the prerequisite? The rule have a prerequisite. The rule, I mean, which is dependent. This is the prerequisite. It means this rule set, it must be prerequisite. Okay, that's what you have to define the rule set within this rule set. I will show you practically, because until you see practically, understanding is very difficult. But when you work practically, you will get clear idea on those. Okay, we'll see those. Right. So in this way, there are application validation and rule set validation. That's all. We'll discuss more detail on this topic. Right. So the rule set list. I mean, how we manage the rule set and all. So how we manage the changes in the rules? How we manage the changes in the rules for every release and development side? For every release, we keep some versions, and that version we use it to deploy to the higher environment. And what are the environments we have in the runtime? We have the multiple environments. Who will be work on those environments? What are the environments we have? So there are the environments, it's depend on the project. So the common environments we have at real-time projects, like is a development environment, and QA and UAT and what? Prod. The prod who will work? Prod who will work? Real time users will work. Okay, this is a live application. On before that, who will work on this application? Users, actual users. These users will test this application. They will work on this UAT. Okay, and now coming to the QA. Who will work on this QA? Your testers. The testing team will work on this. Who will work on the dev? You are the actual dev. You have to develop your code in this environment. Okay, this is the developer will work on here, right? So whatever the code you have developed, have to push the code to the
Madhu,
QA.
what is this QA environment?
QA, you have QA environment,
What is
right?
this QA one?
QA, right? UAT, what you are asking about QA?
We will be having this. Okay. QA. Yes.
What? What is the doubt here?
It's like we will be having the some ST environment. Are you referring to the QA means it is the ST environment, right?
SCAT.
Means it is specific to testing, only for testing, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Quality analysis. So that QAs will work on here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you are moving your code to QA and the QA has to work on this code, right? And now it'll push the code. Once QA test is done, it'll move the code to UAT and the user will validate your code where they are testing in user point of view. Once everything done, so we have a specific time for every month or every 3 months or every 6 months. As of now, all the projects will follow what? Agile methodologies now. Okay, these methodologies have released every week, every month. Okay, so kind of every 2 months or it's depend on the project. You have every release we have. So on particular time they move the code to the prod. Okay, this is how the current the real time we followed. Okay, got it now. So coming to this application rule set and how we manage changes in the rule sets, right? Changes in the rule sets is what? How we manage major and minor and patch. So mostly in this kind of changes, what is the version we use to manage? Patch version only. We keep take the higher version to manage the rules. Got it? Now coming to the, what is that? Managing application development. Okay, so this is what you see the, it will cover the branch. Okay, branch like how we parallel development, how multiple teams work on the on those rules, and how we resolve the conflicts. Suppose you see there is a one more general issue at real time. What is the issue you can see? Suppose there is a team one. Okay, team one and team two. What team one will do? Team one, they develop the code on their branch. This is the branch, for example. This is the team two branch. There is a rule one, they are developing here. There is a rule one, they are developing here, right? So this team will match, they completed development and testing and they move the code to the version, right? They move the code to the version. Suppose the version I will take 010101. Okay, they match with the rule set version. So they have their changes in this O1, O1, O1. Now team 2 have their different changes and they won't match to the version. So what team 2 get conflict here? Team 1 already make the changes here.
Merge
But team
conflict.
1 changes have in this rule set 1? No, you don't have, because these two teams working parallelly. How we can resolve this conflict? If team 2 trying to match the code into the what? Version O1, O1, O2. What will be happen? If team 2 match the code to the O1 over O2, what will be happen?
We'll be getting merge conflict, right?
Sorry?
We'll be getting merge conflict.
Yes. First of all, the branch merge it won't allow to move the code into this version. It will be show the conflict. That rule have already have recent changes. So what is the
It will
solution
not
for that?
allow.
This rule, this team 2 should copy this version to their branches. Okay. Once they copy to their branches, on top of that, the team to have make the changes and they can move to version 2. So what will be happen here? So this version 2 have changes team 1 and team 2, and this version have changes of for team 1 only. You will see practically, you will get good clarity on this. Okay, so this is how we manage branching. Okay, sorry. And now coming to the rule resolution. Now this is how the very, this is a very important concept, how rule pick at runtime and execute. What are the steps it will follows to execute the rule at runtime? There is a rule resolution algorithm. It will be execute at runtime. Okay, it will follow further steps and it will be trying to find best appropriate rule to execute at runtime. Okay, it will take preference on the settings on the rule availability and the class hierarchy, what, and user access based on the user access group. Okay, so it will be have some follow steps. So in that way we need to understand how this algorithm, okay, will work. There we have to see all practically will work on those. Okay, and now here there is a circumstancing. What is the purpose of circumstancing? What is the purpose of circumstancing? Any idea? The circumstancing is what? If a rule have multiple copies, like a rule set, suppose you take one rule, okay, and what circumstances, okay, this is a circumstance A, for example. Circumstance is nothing but a situation, okay, assume it. In what situation, how you manage the rule. Okay, so don't confuse here. This is very clear. When you have a rule with the version 1, version 2, 3, this is the different versions, right? So in these versions, it will take higher version as default by the rule resolution algorithm. Okay, but coming to here, the rule resolution algorithm is take higher preference than this version. Suppose there is circumstance A, circumstance B. Suppose what the circumstance will give this rule. If I give the circumstance is city equal to Hyderabad, okay, city equal to Chennai, city equal to Bangalore, for example, I give it. So when this value is it's meet here, it trying to execute this one, trying to meet Chennai, then this same rule one with the circumstance will execute. Okay, and the circumstance will take more preference than the versioning. Even though circumstance, this rule have the circumstance and have this version 1 to 3, and it have circumstance with A, B, C, and it will trying to execute whenever it meet the circumstance. So circumstance it takes more priority than higher versioning. Okay, this is all you see practically, you will understand better. And in this circumstance, there you have to understand how to override the circumstance, how to withdraw the circumstance, how we manage the changes at one time. That's all you will see practically, you will understand in depth. Okay, that is the circumstance. Now coming to the duplicate and temporary cases. So what is the concept? A temporary case. A temporary case, we don't want to save the data into the database, okay, until it meets some certain criteria. So what is the benefit here creating a temporary cases? Any idea?
Saving the memory.
Sorry.
To save the DB memory.
Exactly. So here unnecessary data we don't want to save into the database. We just keep it temporarily. If we need it, we'll save it. Otherwise, it won't save it. And that way we use it to manage temporary case. And how we duplicate. And if already the case is created, right? If already case is created and we want identify, that is duplicated, right? So that's all we see. The case is already created and you're trying to create one more, it should be duplicate to identify that as a duplicate. That's all you see. What are the steps we have and how we can check. Now coming to the parallel processing. What is the parallel processing? And here this parallel processing we need to understand sub-process mode. Okay, sub-process like we have speed join, speed for each, spin off. Okay, how we manage the processes like parallel process like asynchronously, I mean the same time it following the same two flows at a time, and how we can manage those. Okay, that's all you see. When you're calling two flows at a time, two flows or have different assignments and assigned to the different user. So these two user can open and two users can work on the same case. So how we manage locking mechanism to avoid multiple updates on the same case. Okay, that is the concept you see, locking. So what is the concepts we have in the locking? Okay, single user or multiple user. So you are allowing the case to work on only the single user, or you are allowing the multiple users to work on the same case. Okay, and there you have to understand how you manage parent and child relation, how you copying data propagation from parent to child, and how you resolving the parent case when you working when you, I mean once child case is closed, and you should close the or resolve the parent case. In this way we have to manage okay, parent and child relation. That is the thing you have to see, understanding in depth level on case management. Okay, and now this is all you see, local actions. And what are the types of flow actions we have in Pega? what are the types of flow actions? One is a local action, another is what? Flow action. Local action we use to configure and what? In anytime actions or in the section to update or to perform some actions in the UI. That's all you configure the flow action as a local action. Coming to the flow action, which is nothing but a flow action you use to load on the assignment, right? That's all you see, pre-processing and post-processing before loading the flow action or after submit the flow action. So what activities or what logic have to call, and that's all you see here. And coming to the one more important topic, decision rules. So what are the decision rules we have, and calling from one decision table to another decision table, and what are differences on decision tree, decision table, and map value, and what um, what differences you see. Decision table have its if else conditions, or it will also have when conditions. So how we can use the best approaches using the decision table, and when you should use the decision trees, um, how we can manage the complexity using the decision tables and decision trees. Okay, that's all we'll see practically. And coming to here, approving cases with authority matrix. So there are the level of approvals based on the authority matrix. Authority matrix is what? What does that mean by authority matrix? It's just like your approval level, right? Suppose you see, generally what we see, there is um, a developer. Developer is reporting to team lead. Okay, team lead reporting to manager. Manager is reporting to what? Senior manager. Senior manager reporting to their director. Director is reporting to senior director. Senior director reporting to their what? CEO, kind of. Kind of. There is a hierarchical, I mean, authority matrix. So when, okay, when in the real-time application, you won't get approval from the your senior authorities, right? So how you decide who is the senior authority has to work on. That's all. That's all. This configuration will take care of. Okay. Uh, Multiple level of approvals. That's we have cascading approval and authority matrix. Okay. That's all we'll see practically how we can manage. And now coming to the organization records, which is like organization records is what? Your work groups. Okay. When giving the access to the user, right? And user, what kind of work that user has to perform, and before login, I mean, we need to set up, right? That user is belongs to what group, that user, what work that should assign to that user. Okay, it's nothing but the concept is what? Routing. Okay, routing to his work list or routing to his work groups, and how you configure and what are the steps we have at runtime. User how will get assigned the work, right? See, if there is an insurance or any other application, the user is login. Okay, we don't know what's going on, like how many cases are creating and uh, how many are created and going on. So user click on some, get next to work, or they can assign, or they have a report like work list or work basket. They can pull the assignment from those. Okay, so what are the concept we have and how we are assigning to the user? That's all we see. And there are also the settings, work groups and work queues, and we have to set the operator settings for that. That's all we'll see. Okay, and now coming to the field values. What does it mean by the field values? Field values, you see there is a status work. What is that? The property we use to hold the status of the case. Py status work. Okay, this is a field value, the values which manage to the multiple applications. Multiple application is what? If you see py status work, right? So there you see all uh, Let's see, that's nice. You see here status work property. Okay, you see this is all defined in different uh, application. This is the property, but this is you see using as a field value at runtime to update the status. Let's see. Uh, if you click on here, you see the status. Press down array. You see here, right? Multiple status. But all you see which are nothing but what? Field values. Click on here. See, you see
Your
this is,
screen is showing the course content itself for me.
oh, sorry. Think hide. Okay. Can you see?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry. And you see here, this EY status work having the multiple values. So this is nothing but a field value that you are trying to assign. You see, this is a Pega application, right? So you have multiple status. It is holding multiple values, right? Which are defining in the multiple application. This is how you can use it. Okay. This is the concept of field values. We'll see how we can use it and how we can manage in our application. Now coming to the portals. Okay, so user will have an access to the multiple portals, like we have manager portal or kind of approval portal, user approval portal, and user portal. That we have number of portals at runtime that user has to log in their portal and they has to perform their task in that portal. So what access you will give to that user and how we restrict that user in that portal and all that configuration all you see in the user portal. So this is all, like customizing the portal is nothing but you have to design, UI format and logos and template color change or style change. That's all you can customize it within the portal. Okay, let's see, because it is Constellation and Theme Cosmos, they come with a lot of changes in the UI. That's all, little difficult. uh, you see, like it is not taking properly, but we'll see how we can configure those things. Okay, like so these portals we have harness, so there you have to design the harness and uh, that's all you have to configure the harness into the portal. Okay, and there is accessibility which is nothing but there are the users, right? Users, who's that user, like inability users, right? There's a blind people, they not see your application properly, kind of, right? So they will follow, text readers, text readers. So when they are moving mouse, it will identify that field and it will be read to that user. Okay, in that way, how we use it to develop the application, it's a more accessibility. That's all the configuration you see in the accessibility. Okay, now coming to the this is exercise, like how we can configure and what changes, what setting we have to follow. That's all you see here. And now coming to the one more important topic is data pages. Data pages, they come with the changes is what? New changes you see. This is one of the important concepts that you have to understand data pages. And also it will be a very important thing you have to understand in point of view what? Interview. So when the interview, he will ask you like reload, I mean how it reload and what cases you will use grid, okay, requester and node, and when we need this and how we have to work on, so how we have to use in the better way. So this all you have to see practically, then you will understand better, right? So what is the keyed pages, okay, and user defined keys, and also we have new concept is what, savable data pages, okay, how you can save, when you have to save, and what are the configuration we have to do. That's all you have to see, understanding in this data pages. One is a configuration. Configuring this data page is what, thread node requester, and the page is what, page or page list, and we have data sources like what, connectors, report definition, whatever it. That is a loading, configuring. Another is what, loading. Load management, when it has to reload, and when it has to make it available with updated data in the clipboard. That is all access to the user. That's all the configuration you see. This is a very important in point of view development, in point of view interview, in point of view we are working on the real time. Okay, now coming to the database. You see, database updates, like how you read the data from the database and how you update the data, how you write the data. So we have multiple ways to, how many ways we can fetch the data. Report definitions, okay, and what, activities, and what, any other, connect SQL. Okay, so you have a multiple ways to load the data or save the data. Activities, and what, data pages we have. So which one you have to use, why you need to follow the data pages instead of choosing the activity, why you should not use the activity, okay, how you have to manage your code, make more reusable. That's all you have to understand. Right, now the integration, how you integrate your application with the multiple application. So integrations means, which is like how you connecting, right? The connecting is what, like, there are in real-time application, you are developing the application in Pega, but there you have to connect with a lot of Java applications, .NET, and so on. So different application there you have to connect with. So what we have to do in this scenario? So how we are connecting? Like using what? REST, SOAP, okay. There we have GMS, okay. There are different uh, way we can connect to the external application. That's all we see more practically on REST and SOAP, how we provide the service, or how we consume the service from the external system, and how we can manage those settings and all. That's all we'll see, okay, in the point of view what, integration. So when you integrate with the external application, what are the major things that you have to configure? In the point of view of service, have to check what is the service package and what is the access mechanism in the service package, like security you provide, and what service you're calling, and what activity you're calling, how you take the payload, okay, which is coming in the JSON or XML, okay, how you converting this format to the clipboard, okay, and how we responding to the user, okay, whatever you get the request, okay, and how you handling error handling, exception handling, kind of there it have multiple scenarios you have to understand, okay. This is more helpful for your interview point of view, and also, okay, in your real-time working point of view as well, because when you go for the interview, this is one of the definitely you will get this question on integration, okay. How you handle error handling, how you mapping the request which is coming in the JSON or XML, how you sending, suppose they send invalid data to your application, how you validate that they have sent the invalid data, and all you have to understand. If you have to practice and understand those concepts, you can clearly you can clear these kind of questions in the interview. Okay, it's more about you have to practice. Okay, uh, in that scenarios you will get clear idea on this. Okay, now coming to what settings, there we have system settings and data DSS we have. So this is all like manage the settings on your application. Okay, that's this it's nothing but when you want change something in your application, suppose exceed time, or you want take the values without changing any code. Okay, so when you move the code from dev to QA or to prod, but you want give some different data or different access, or kind of you want give some set some value. Okay, so you can update these settings, so automatically it will be it will work on based on the environment wise. Okay, that's all you see, global resource settings and dynamic system settings. Okay, we'll see those how we can configure. And now coming to the integration that we see, uh, integration, when you're getting integration error handling, exception handling, how we if you connect to the external system, for example, if you got any error something, you have to retry and after some time to get the external system, connect to the external system and get data and update your case, right? So in that case, how we can manage, we'll take one example here. Suppose I will take event management, for example. Okay, you are connecting weather report, right? So weather report, to get the report from weather application. Okay, from the weather application, right? So when you connecting to this application, okay, the system is down or is not available, so you have to wait one more some specific time, or 10 minutes or 20 minutes, again retry. So this time this system is up and it is available and give response back to your application. So in this way, how you can configure, right? So this is all, you see, it won't ask you more than these kind of questions in the interview, but you have to understand and you have to practice. There you will get clear idea on these topics. Okay, this is what you see, so configuration and how to configure service and connector, and converting request to response and all. Okay, now one more important topic is what, report. Okay, so report is one of the important concept. The report, you have to understand how you load the data from different tables. You have the data in the multiple tables, so there you have to run a report to get the data from multiple tables, which using what, joins. So what joins you will use, and how you have to fetch the data and make it available to the user. Okay, so what settings we have and how we give the access to that user, and how we can schedule the reports. So suppose there is a report should run in every month, and create an Excel file and send it to the user, how we can do that. So this is all we have an inbuilt features in the Pega. There is a schedule reports. Okay, schedule reports, there is it automatically convert or send an email to the user, convert to the that specific format. So we have different concepts we have in the report. That's all we'll see. Okay, if you work on these concepts in interview, it won't ask more than that. Up to your level of experience and knowledge, they don't ask more than that. Okay, and one more concept is security. Security is the one of the important concept. So there is a user one, user two, user three, and how we give the access. Suppose user three only open the user, only see the data. User three, user 2 they shouldn't, user 1 shouldn't, okay, but user 3 only have an access. How we can do that? Okay, and there we have multiple level of access, like access rules, like access events, privileges, okay. um, so how we manage the security, okay, attribute based access control, role based access control. That's all we'll see, how we can compare those. And now coming to the web measure. What is the web measure? The measure is there, the concept the Pega provide is, if you take this measure, it's create one HTML with XML. Okay, there is a script it generate, and you copy this script and uh, paste it any other application. You have to give some settings over there, and suppose a Salesforce or any other application, you just copy that script, and automatically this Pega UI will be loaded into the Salesforce application. Okay, kind of you can integrate or you can load, but this UI will load in the Pega. Okay, suppose you configure assignment, and this assignment you want load in the Salesforce, right? So you take as a mashup script and paste it here. Whenever cases reach this assignment, automatically it will be loaded in the Salesforce. That's all. You see how we can manage those settings and how we can work on. Okay. Now coming to the important topic is activities. So activities have a lot of methods. Okay. What methods we have and how we configure. This is all manage business logic at runtime. This is very important thing you have to understand in depth of using the methods. Using the methods, debug, how to find that issue, and error handling, exception handling, okay, how to call another activity, and how to debug it. This is a very important concept. You have to understand in depth, and you have to practically work on. And one more concept is what? Background processing. So the background processing is what? You are assigning some tasks that the backend jobs will wake up on scheduled time, and they have to work on those tasks. So generally, what kind of task it has to work on in the background? Suppose you create a case, okay, and uh, you create a case, and you need to send an email, okay, or you have to send multiple emails to the different users, kind of. So, or you can create a case, and for example, you can take there has to update a lot of data. So suppose like there is a case you created, okay, and send an update to the external system. For example, external system will send a request to your application that updates related to case one, for example. Okay, so what will happen in this scenario? Let's see here. There is a case one. Okay, you give some updates, okay, to the external application, that is a Java, for example. Okay. Okay, so now this application, after some time, okay, they will give an update to this case. Okay, so what will happen? We need to take this data and update on this case, right? So suppose you can take a rest. Okay, you are connect to this application, give some updates related to this case one, and this application will give the response back and update on, you should update on this case. So what we need to do then? So directly we can update. If in case of update fails, then what you have to do? Update fails, what you have to do? We got, you got what I'm saying here? Lahari Vinay. Simply the case is created, you are updating this data to the Java application, and you connecting through what REST, and they are response back to the our application, Pega application, and we should ensure this data should update on the case one. How we can ensure it? And there is a possibility when this update comes to this case, user are also working on this case. When user is working on this case, what will happen? The user hold the lock on this case. When user one hold the lock on this case, and you're trying to update on this case, will it update? No, it will update. How we can handle that? So you have to handle this job to the queue processor, and the queue processor will have a retry mechanism if it is failed to update on this case. Okay, in this way we have job scheduler, okay, and queue processor. Okay, which is the updated concept of what? Agents. What are the agents we have? Standard and advanced. Okay, so this standard and advanced, which are duplicated, but this is our highly reliable and performance wise, and all the ways. This is all we have to use those. So what are the concepts behind this job scheduler and queue processor, and how to retry mechanism, and how to trace it if it is failed to update it, it failed to complete its task. How we know, how we can retry it, how to trace it, how to debug it, what concepts we have it. So this is all we have to work on these concepts. It won't more than that, it won't ask you in the interview. Okay, you should practically work on, you should practically understand the concept in depth. Okay, that's all more enough for the interview. They don't ask you more than that. Okay, it's all the concepts, how you practice and how you understand the concepts in depth. That's more enough for your interviews. Okay, and also clearing the interview, it's not see, when you reading some concepts for the interview, you're giving some answers in the interview, but when you're going to the real time, you have to practically work on. So we have to work on this concept in the real time. If you have clear idea, suppose suppose in real time, when you're working any projects, they give this scenario, for example, how you will work. See, they in the real time, they will give you so and so details. That's it. You have to log into your application. You have to understand what rules you have to create, where you have to create, what are the existing REST rules we have, and how to use it, and when you have to initiate a request to this Java application, and once a request come back, for this request, you got a response. How you manage and how to debug it, how to work on it, how you know it is working fine, how to test it. There is a lot many things. It's all comes through your practice only. Practice, understand. Okay, this is a very important thing. If you're not, if you read it without practice, then you forget. Read it with practice, you will understand what's going on. You have to always focus on how to resolve that issue, why this issue raises, and what is the best fix for that, and what is the possible options for that fix. What is the best option for that fix, for that issue. Okay, in that way, if you think, definitely you will be an expert within the 2-3 years. Okay, you have to work on in that way. Definitely it will be help you a lot. You will be expert in 3 years. That's the damn sure. Okay, and now coming to the debugging and performance, there we have performance tools, we have tracer, we have clipboard, we have. Okay, you can check the logs. Okay, how to check the logs, and how you have to use your application. See, suppose job scheduler fails, how do you know why it is failed, when it is failed, what changes it causing that issue. So this is all, all the real time you have to work on. Okay, that's all we'll see. Debugging, performance and testing. Okay, DB trace we have and all. That's all we'll see. We'll discuss more onto these topics on the later. Okay. And one more thing, what this is what relevant records, reuse. Okay, this is what how you manage the records, data records, and how we delegate to that user. Okay, that's all we'll see. Like we created data types, right? We have an option to delegate to that user as well. That user also can update the data from the portal. Will give that access to that user. So there we don't give dev access to the user in the prod, right? So only we are the devs where we have to log in as an administrator, and user shouldn't. So how we give access to that user to update data in the data types. Okay, and now coming to the migration, like what are the settings we have, like product rules, and how you deploy, and how whatever the code you develop, right? What are the code you develop, how you create a zip file, and how you move the code, data instances, rules, single rules. Okay, that's all you see how you deploying your code to the higher environments. Okay, and this is all, some settings you see how you run your application in the mobile, and what settings you have to work on this, configuring your application in the mobile. These all some concepts were not support in the Constellation UI. We'll see what are the new updates which related to those. Okay, so this is all we covered in point of view of CSSA. This is all you have to work on more practically and understand the concept in depth, which is must you have to work on. Any doubts till now what we discussed it so far?
Are we going to cover the UI part also?
UI concepts, yeah, we'll cover
Huh.
those. Yeah, we'll cover. We have the topic, right? The user interface here,
Hmm.
portals, furnace sections,
Yes, yes, yes.
local actions, flow actions. Yeah, we do. There we have, when you have to conditionally visible and conditionally show the grid. We'll see more. You can get more questions. I will give the solutions which practically you can work on. Okay.
Bro, this is CSA level or CWSA level syllabus?
CSSA. This course is completely CSSA.
Okay.
Okay. That's all
Hmm.
you have to see. We'll cover two applications. One is the event management. One is uh, auto repair application. Replacement item application for auto repair. There, the settings we see, event application and all, the concepts. I'll show you practically on those. The event application, who the users will work on, how we create an event, and the event, what when you booking the event. Suppose we'll cover one of the application on the session, like event application. The event is one organization won't conduct an event, like so they have different type of events, like political event, education event, like some activities, music activities are kind of. So on the event, this organization will take care of what is the location, and the location, uh, how many people are attending, and for that people where we can provide the hotel booking and parking kind of facilities we provide. And based on all the facilities and all that, the user will book the slot on that, and we provide invoice to the user, and they has to pay for uh, that booking. And in that way we'll work on, we're trying to add integrations and all these real-time concepts. Okay, and one more application, I will give you scenarios, and there you have to work on that auto repair application. Okay, in parallelly we'll see that. One of the application I will explain you, one of the application I will give you scenarios you have to work on. Okay, any doubts here regarding this? Tomorrow we'll create the application, and we'll go step by step. Any doubts here, Larry? Any...
As of now, no doubts.
So did you practice all these concepts already?
Mostly, most of them I have covered already.
Mm-hmm.
UI
Okay.
part is where I'm lagging as of now, because it is completely, will be working on this technical concept like activities, DETs, integrations, and UI part. There is no scope of UI in our project.
Mm-hmm. Sure, sure.